Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. I am your host, Jake Burke, and joined, as always, by James St. Charles. How are you doing?
Great. How about you?
I'm doing well. I'm really excited. We're recording on a Saturday. I've been having a nice, lazy Saturday.
Oh, yeah. It's raining. It's raining here, so it's perfect gaming weather.
Oh, it is not raining here because we are 500 miles away, and so it is bright and sunny in San Diego. And my patio in my new place, which you'll be able to see soon, has like an ocean view technically. It's like pretty far away. And I saw there's like a lot of the ocean today that I'm looking at, and I'm like, this is fucking dope.
Yeah, San Diego condo with an ocean view.
I know, can't complain about that. Why can't we complain, James? Because this is the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, where every Monday morning a new episode goes live on YouTube.com, Spotify, and SoundCloud. That's right, folks. We are on audio services. Just search Sidescape on Spotify or SoundCloud, and you will get our audio feed with all of our various shows. Once a week, we sit down and Skype across 500 miles to talk about the latest video game news, like a leaked Star Wars game and The Last of Us coming to HBO. This is a Jake Burke fucking week for you guys. Get ready. And a main topic like the Final Fantasy VII Remake demo impressions. And at the end of every episode, we slowly build the Sidescape Gaming Top 20 of All Time list. I get to pick this week, and we're not going to cheat like we have been doing recently. But before we do any of that, and even before we talk about what we've been playing, James, I want to do a little housekeeping, because now we got some more shows on Sidescape. So it'd be kind of cool to tell people. Every Wednesday morning, we have a show called Sidescape Ranks that goes up. Our latest one, we ranked the Star Wars saga, Skywalker saga, with Hunter and I, and made a list of all 11 movies. And then Fridays now we have a series called Sidescaping, which is a kind of Let's Play series where we have a Bloodborne video that just went up where Hunter and Parker play Bloodborne, and Hunter is surprisingly good at Bloodborne for his first time. So it's pretty exciting. Yeah, but now we can get to the podcast, James. What have you been playing? Tell me what's up.
All right. First off about the ranks. That's not just gaming. So basically it's going to be like ranking everything. So not only gaming, we're branching out a little bit, which is good.
Yeah,
what I've been playing though, back to the gaming.
Back to the games.
What we've both been playing. We both played the FF7 demo. We'll talk about that later. Which will be our main
topic.
We'll talk about that later. Halo 1. Dude, we just had a lot of like bombs drop this week. Like this week it was just like boom, FF7 demo. Boom, Halo 1. My next game. Boom, Black Mesa, which came out yesterday. Full release.
I saw this.
I played that game 5 years ago when it was like 60 to 70% done.
So explain what it is.
Okay, Black Mesa is the best mod for Half-Life 1, which started in 2004 when Half-Life 2 released. So it started out as a mod, and then it just became bigger and bigger, 16, 15 years in the making. It came out as a full game just now.
So it's a remake, basically, of Half-Life 1?
It is a remake. It's not a port. It is not like, it's not like some brushed up graphics. This is like a new Half-Life 1 game on the new engine, basically. Ooh. Everything is kind of the same, so playing it, you have to keep in mind you're playing like a 1990s game, but with really nice graphics and different types of puzzles. But everything else, like the enemies are the same, and the story is kind of not there, but pretty good for the time. Like as a nostalgia thing, like this is not like a staple, I would say, that you need to play, because there's no story. Like to play it first, it was like Oh, it's
Half-Life 1, there's no story?
There's like story in the first 10 minutes, and then you just shoot and fight the whole game, and there's story probably at the very end. That's it.
So I watched the trailer, and I really don't know anything about Half-Life. All I know is, of course, that Gordon Freeman missing both of his legs at the end of Half-Life episode 2 or whatever it is. God, I really like this joke.
Yeah.
Anyways, I didn't realize there were aliens in Half-Life. I watched the trailer for Black Mesa, and they were like, the aliens are coming after us. Aliens. Like, whoa, didn't know that.
Yeah, okay, I can give a brief synopsis of what it is.
Sure.
So your Black Mesa is like a government research facility, and they not only do research, but they also do testing. So they were doing some testing because they basically like found or discovered like an alternate dimension with aliens, and they were trying to like, enter it, make contact, which they successfully did. But then there was like an incident where they came to their world and then started killing everyone. And then that's Half-Life 1. Basically, the research facility is getting attacked, and you're MIT scientist that's like going around killing everyone. So
Gordon Freeman.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then there's there's a little bit more like with G-Man, who G-Man is, Government Man. That's what it stands for. But
right.
Like how you're being placed in certain points in time. There's like time travel. There's It's a pretty. The story develops more in Half-Life 2, which it'll probably develop even further with Half-Life Alyx. So really exciting stuff there. But yeah, the Vortigons are aliens, and they help you. They aren't enemies.
They're called what? What are
Vortigons?
Vortigons. Okay.
VORDI. They have one eye. They're like Cyclops looking. They have like this.
That's a 90s ass alien name.
It's a good name.
That's a good name. Okay.
But I actually, after playing Black Mesa, I haven't seen one. I haven't finished the ending. So basically I played the 70% that they released around 2015, and then they spent this past 5 years working on the last 30%, which is Zen. That's what the next word. Where you're basically like in the dimension, the alien dimension. It's really beautiful, quite amazing graphics too. It plays amazing. But again, no story.
Not at all what I expected Half-Life to be.
It's kind of like Portal, where like the story's like really minimal, and then the very end it like kicks up. That's what I expected to happen.
Okay.
Where, like you're just like solving puzzles, shooting people.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then my last game. Sorry, I just went all me. Sorry, and then we'll go.
Yeah, no. Then we'll go me.
Last game I really want to talk about. I put down Starfetchers (pilot) close parentheses.
I have no idea what the hell this is.
So here's my thing. For people who don't know, I hate playing early access games because they change, and my perception of them is like what I play. So if they completely change the game at the end, then it's like, why would I play? Why should I just play what they want, the finished product? So I typically don't. However, this Starfetchers is doing something great. They're doing episodic releases. So they just released the pilot, so it's in episode format for their game, and it's gonna be the finish. Like that's the pilot. So I decided to play it, even though they haven't released the next episodes. Kind of like a Telltale kind of episode game release. However, it's not like a Telltale because it's not like story based. It's more like you take Hotline Miami and you smash it with Nidhogg. That's the game. Oh, really fun.
Okay.
So, and then you take
top down.
Yeah, Undertale. No, then you take no, not top down. Then you take Undertale, Lisa side scrolling, and that's your story. So the combat is Nidhogg, where like you hit him with the sword, but they die in like one hit, like Hotline Miami. And the music is amazing, Hotline Miami-esque, but it just flows with the game.
What's it called?
Starfetchers, and it's free. The pilot is free.
Okay.
Starfetchers on Steam. The story is like really just like them having fun. Yeah. But I was gonna print it out, but I forgot to get the synopsis of the game.
Synopsis.
I'll explain it. So basically, you and this other person are trying to start like a rival gang in this. You're in like a bad part of the city, basically, and you're trying to meet this guy named Doghead, I believe his name. Doghead, who's at the very top of this tower he built. He's like the best gang leader of all time. He's like the top king, and so to fight him or to meet him, you have to beat all the other gangs. Huh. So you're basically going around like beating up gangs.
Okay.
And it's fun. The story's funny. It's just really fun and it flows. Like the combat is really fun. It's just Nidhogg.
Yeah. That's sweet. I've never even heard of it.
Yeah, I didn't hear about it. It released in January. Didn't hear about it. I saw someone play it and I was like, why isn't anyone else playing this game? Check the Steam reviews. Overwhelmingly positive. Amazing.
Starfetchers.
It looks like if I was to make a game, this is kind of how I'd make a game. Like really, really just having fun with it, but a clean type of, with great music.
Okay.
Atmosphere. Oh, beautiful.
Huh. I've not heard about it. Sorry, I need to look up something really quick. It's kind of cool that I have an iPad to do it. Because I want to look up the maker of the game that I'm about to talk about.
Yeah, but okay. It's like sardonic. That's how I describe it. With just the dark humor, but like taking itself as a joke, but at the same time delivering a quality like setup. The pilot is like I'm excited for the next episodes because like man, they have a pretty good story. I wouldn't say it's as like deep as Undertale, but it looks fun. It's fun.
Would I like Undertale?
I think you would, but I hate the it's turn-based kind of like combat.
Yeah, I don't like turn-based.
And now this is not. It's just like you fighting and.
Okay. And I've tried to start Undertale like 3 or 4 times.
I've tried to play it too, and I hate it.
I'm not into it.
Like some of it, the music's okay, but it's just like I don't care about like lining up a line and clicking my mouse and then. Yeah,
that's how I feel.
This is me just
like,
boom.
Let me talk about what I've been playing, because I've been playing a lot. We're going to kind of go through them quick. So I've been playing a game called Bloodroots. which just came out. It's by Paper Cult. That's what I wanted to look up. They've actually done one other game. They were founded in 2014, but it's an indie game. It is a top-down kind of smash 'em, beat 'em up kind of game, where you are this man who wears a wolf's skin on his head, and you pick up various items throughout the map, and you one-hit kill everything on the map. But you are also vulnerable to a one-hit kill.
So Hotline Miami type.
Very Hotline Miami-esque, but everything's basically melee combat that you have.
Nice.
You can throw certain stuff, and you can pick up like 1 or 2 guns. It's very cool. The art style is very fun and zany. The story is very zany, as like you are a man seeking revenge on these people that have left you for dead. That being said, I think it's a very fun game, but it's kind of frustrating because it's not as precise as I want it to be. It is very much like when you go up to a guy, there is a little green circle that goes under them, and that means that you can hit them. But the game is so fast that like you're not looking for the green circle because you got to like pick up something, smash a guy, grab something else, smash another guy, combo, and it encourages like speed. But that circle sometimes doesn't line up with like I'm next to the guy and I'm swinging this piece of wood and it should hit him, and it doesn't hit him, and then I die, and it's like I can't even explain why I die. Like I'm like, and so the not tactile nature of Bloodroots of like how it should be like feeling precise. After we recorded our side escaping Bloodborne episode, I was like, fuck, I kind of want to play some Bloodborne. So I hopped into Bloodborne for like a morning and like started a new file and ran through Bloodborne, and it gave me the exact feeling I was looking for of Bloodroots, where I was like, I wanted that precision of like grab something, swing, dodge out of the way, do another hit, use a blood vial to heal, then like run back in there. Which is really fun. I think we're at a weird time in the year where there's not a lot coming out, and we're on the precipice of everything coming out.
On the eve of things coming out. So
I don't want to like start a new game or anything, but so I went back into Bloodborne for a little bit. Then I was like, okay, I got my fill. I'm not going to like beat it. But then something came out on PlayStation Plus last week, which was Shadow of the fucking Colossus, which is one of the great games of all time.
Yes.
And so I started playing Shadow of the Colossus on PlayStation again. And fuck, I love that game so much. I've beaten a few Colossi, just kind of messing around, and it's just such a great sense of scale when you fight. Have you played Shadow of the Colossus?
Yeah, I have. I played the OG way longer.
Yeah, me too.
It's probably the father of big boss battles. Like,
it's the father of so many things in games.
Everyone going to this game, open world like aspect, scale. Like when if someone was modeling a big boss fight, they probably looked to this game to see how they did it.
Oh yeah,
and
it's basically
so early, like how this was done. It's just beautiful.
And it's such like a video game as art kind of thing of like where there's the story is so loose. Like you are just this man named the Wanderer, and you are taking this woman, this maiden, to revive her because she was killed because she was like had a cursed fate, and this deity like talks to you and it's like you need to go kill these 16 beasts, but like it's kind of like disposed of like maybe you're doing the wrong thing as well, like maybe you trying to revive her is not best interest for the world, and it's kind of sad and melancholy, and like when you kill these colossi, like these giant beasts, like it's kind of sad, like maybe you shouldn't be killing them. So I love that kind of aspect of like it's up to what you want the story to be kind of thing. Like you can either make yourself a hero or like almost feel like the villain of the story,
like BioShock.
Like BioShock. So it's one of those great games. I just love playing it. And then obviously we played the Final Fantasy VII demo. I want to say 17. We're not there yet.
So close.
We will be. Yeah. So yeah, that was kind of what I've been playing. It's been a weird week of trying to figure out games to get into and stuff before Ori comes out next week. Then Doom comes out the week after that.
I've seen Resident people already having access to Ori. And that like pisses me off.
Me too. I want access. I'm like,
like, damn, all these people are playing it. It's just like, damn. Like
I can tell 11 people
so
about
I don't know
this
if it's
game.
like real full release, but
you can pre-download it on Xbox.
No, I mean yeah. But they're like playing it.
I know.
But it says sneak peek, so I don't know if it's like up to a certain point. That game doesn't need a demo. That game just you play.
I can't wait, dude. I'm so excited. What's the game that you're most excited for that's coming out in the next 2 months?
Oh, 2 months?
Because like in March and April, obviously. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm really excited for Doom.
Yeah. That's like 2 weeks away.
Yeah, so I think May has the game players for me.
Yeah.
But
we're talking about The Last of Us?
Yeah.
No, I after playing Final Fantasy VII, I was super hyped for that, and then everything that I've been hearing about Resident Evil 3.
Oh, Resident Evil 3,
is like Fuck, that might be the game I'm most excited to play. But then, of course, Doom is like so close. I'm so excited for that too. I'm gonna spend so much money. Now I want to hop into the news because our first little news story has to do with Resident Evil 3. And it was a developing story, which I thought was just really funny. I didn't even source it from anywhere because I just watching the outcry on Twitter.
Yeah, just the Twitter outcry. That's what I saw.
Oh, it's great. So the Resident Evil 3 remake, which comes out like the beginning of April, they announced that Nemesis, who's the creature chasing you in this game, it was able to break into safe rooms. And like, so while you're like saving and hiding, he can break into the safe rooms.
He's like the Mr. X of Resident Evil 2 and 3. Yeah, of 3, yeah.
But he's like faster and he's got a flamethrower and
he looks way scarier.
Yeah. Which I actually, I'm curious about it. Mr. X was so scary because like he would just walk around and like this guy like chasing him. Like, I think I can handle this a little more.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm gonna be a real scared boy while playing it. But so they announced like, okay, he can break into safe rooms. Everyone on the internet freaked the hell out. It was like, there's like some people were like, this is bullshit. A safe room.
Yeah, I know. They're like, what the hell?
It's like, what are you talking about? It's fucking funny.
Some people were awesome. They were like, yes, this is amazing.
Yeah, and then I was like, this is great.
Yeah, that's what I was.
And then of course they said there are certain safe rooms that you can be fine in, like that he can't get into. Also that there is, if you break his line of sight, you can go into a safe room and he won't follow you. It's only like you can't just run into, because like you've played Resident Evil 2, right?
Yeah.
The remake.
Mm-hmm.
So like, you know when your Mr. X is chasing you, then you can like walk into the safe room and he just like is standing outside the door and he like,
yeah, it's like pause and then and
like he walks away. I was like, okay, this feels really unrealistic now that he's just like, oh, I can't go into the library. Like, all right, I mean, he can go in the library, but so the dark room or whatever it's called. But I just thought that was a funny story.
You know, what if they like take this because like they're like, damn, some people were hyped about him entering like the safe room and then code it in like as like a little Easter egg or like a mode that he can. There's like an extra difficulty where like Nemesis can go into any room.
That'd be cool.
That would be.
Well, I think he'll be able to go into most.
Yeah, from what I heard, it was like people were taking it like out of context from what they said. Yeah. It was just like some. Yeah. And
people that have played the demo too have said like that. I wish I had played the demo. It's supposed to come out soon. When Nemesis is chasing you, there are checkpoints. So when you die, it doesn't just pop you to the last save point. There's actual checkpoints in it now. So that like you won't like, oh, I forgot to save 4 hours ago and fuck, now I'm back there because Nemesis got me, which I think is kind of cool. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, the next news story. ESA moves ahead with E3 2020 despite coronavirus concerns. We're talking about the coronavirus again. By Rebecca Valentine at gamesindustry.biz. This is a small story. The ESA, the Electronic Software Association, plans to move forward with E3 plans despite growing concerns over the spread of the novel coronavirus, COVID-19. Everyone is watching the situation very closely, said the ESA in a statement to Vice Games. We will continue to be vigilant as our first priority is health, wellness, and safety of all of our exhibitors and attendees. Given what we know at the time, we are moving ahead with full speed E3 2020 planning. Exhibit and registration sales are on track for an exciting show in June. So there's since been a little development since I pulled the story where they've kind of said we're monitoring even more closely, but they haven't officially canceled it.
Yeah.
Is E3 going to get canceled, James?
I'm going to say if the Olympics get canceled, E3 gets canceled.
I think that's a good barometer. That's a very good barometer.
Stuff that was scheduled for May has been canceled. So like TwitchCon EU got canceled. When does South by Southwest is April, I think?
Yeah, end of April. And that got canceled.
So that got canceled. So as it comes on, so maybe in April we'll hear some more news. But I think in terms of location, California is probably the best to host big events in the summer because we have no humidity. So viruses tend to die out and not survive as well. However,
fuck you, Florida.
And anywhere else with humidity, Japan, Asia, all of those, the virus can survive with humidity. So if it gets worse, again, even though it's going to be probably fine in California, it could get worse. And we're many months away from the summer, so still got April, May,
June-ish. I'm concerned that I think E3 will be I think it will be canceled. I'm concerned wasn't the right word. I think it will be canceled, but I think all of the presentations and like press conferences may still happen, or it'll be very Nintendo Direct like Bethesda will do their package. Maybe it's like a Nintendo Direct.
I think maybe if you keep it really localized and select in how they do it, like they had. Remember when I was talking about the IEM? Last week where they basically like cancel the show, but they still put it on. They just had the players like playing and then live streamed it, and that's it. There was no one in the audience, so they still did it, but with a very select few group. That can still work. However, E3's pouring so much money, like ESA is pouring so much money into E3 that I don't know if it's cost effective for them to even like have E3.
Well, and what I'm thinking too is if E3 gets canceled, it will never recover from that.
I think
it's already dying, and then if it gets canceled, they're like, people are gonna stop going. Like Bethesda's gonna be like, maybe we don't need to go. Maybe we just do this video package. It works better for us. Yeah. Nintendo does the same thing with their video. I mean, they have a booth, but
video events are amazing. Like you can boom. Better. I'm just gonna have like boom. Here's a 2-hour, 1-hour show of just all the stuff that's coming out. Why do we need E3? Why do we need these big conventions where you're paying $1,000 for these dumb tickets?
PlayStation's realized you don't need E3.
Yeah, you don't. You can, and then they're saving so much more money by not having a booth, and then they can have their own events. Why it's like they're like, why can't we just do this? What they're doing? Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right about that.
I think it's gonna get canceled, but we'll see. Yeah. I mean, if everything gets solved like that, then it'll be back on. But I don't know. Mm-hmm. All right, we're shifting hard. And this is a thing I think you'll be able to tell me a lot more about. Riot's next game is Valorant?
Valorant? No, it's Valorant.
Valorant. Oh, okay. Douche. I was like, I thought I got that right. A first-person shooter by Alistair Jones at Kotaku UK. In what may have been the worst-kept secret of the weekend, Riot has officially unveiled Valorant, the 5v5 competitive FPS previously known as Project A. Screenshots and social channels leaked over the past few days, but the announcement proper took place early. It wasn't this morning, but that's the story says. It was Monday, I think, is when it was announced.
Yep.
Last Monday. Details are relatively sparse, but there are a few sets of ideas that Riot seems to be focusing on. The most important, although quite dry, seems to be technical emphasis, is on good frame rate, stable netcode, and an anti-cheat. That's all well and good, but it's not particularly exciting. Thankfully, early gameplay previews offer a look at the characters and abilities. Each character will have an ultimate ability, earned by getting kills or completing objectives, and a main ability. There is also increased utility offered from 2 purchasable abilities each round. That does sound a lot like Valorant will sit down somewhere between Overwatch and Counter-Strike. But there's also design influence from classic shooters like Team Fortress 2 mixed in. You can check out more of the official preview below. We don't have that. Shouldn't have read that part. Whoops. While Valorant differs from many of Riot's other upcoming projects by moving firmly away from the League of Legends franchise, it's closer to a MOBA than you might think. In League of Legends lore, Valorant is the name of one of the continents in the world of Runeterra. So it's interesting that Riot chose to stay so closely to a fairly fundamental aspect of their universe. Valorant is due to release sometime this summer, which means it might be available in just a few months. Whether it'll have an early access or open beta stage before release remains to be seen, but for this game, I imagine that's quite likely. So, James, Valorant sounds a lot like Overwatch.
Yeah,
but in League of Legends. Tell me what you know about it.
I'm sure I would say it's you're smashing Overwatch abilities and team play with Counter-Strike shooting and netcode frames. Like that's what they're aiming for. Is like they're trying to steal some Counter-Strike players. However, I think this game is targeted towards all parties. Not just like because like what they're promoting is like, yeah, we have good netcode, yeah, we have 128 tick servers, but it's like, it's also casual, like, our League of Legends players can play, and even though like we're spending all this time with abilities and good frame rates and stuff, I was reading that they said it's going to be for everyone. Like you can play this on the lowest end of computers.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
So they're not only targeting like pros, and they're not like making this with like a competitive scene in mind. It's for everyone, which I think is like a big point. What I don't like is you have all these people right away that, like they are pros in like Overwatch or something. Like boom, yep, I'm gonna go pro in Valorant, and I'm gonna like be the best. And it's just like the game's not even out, and there's way too much hype for this game. And although I said like netcode, 120 tick servers, and online play, most of your tournaments are played in person, like big tournaments. They're played locally, and that's how Counter-Strike is. You're playing on a LAN server, so it's like you have the max tick and max frame. So that's good for online, but at the same time, we'll see. Like I want to actually play it before everyone's like saying this is the best thing ever, because I've been reading that from people like who are pros and who like have played the session.
They're excited for it,
and they're saying, "Oh, this game's gonna beat everything. This game's gonna be." How many times have we heard that? How many times have we heard like games like this game's Artifact's gonna be the best card game ever? Like, yeah. So that's why it's like grain of salt with everything. We'll see it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's gonna do well. Is it an Overwatch killer? Is this Counter-Strike killer? I think not.
No.
We'll watch. It might be its own thing.
Okay. I have really nothing to say on it because I don't know much about it, but I'm glad you do. So, any final thoughts on Valorant?
I'll play it.
Okay, cool. I'll try it out, I'm sure.
I'll try it out. I think we'll try it out, but...
So I want to save... I'm going to skip stories, James, because we're going to come back to the one in the middle. Because I'm just going to talk very briefly about this. I don't even think I'm going to read all of the... Valve shows off how you fight and move in Half-Life Alyx. So, more importantly, the other day, Valve released a few videos with gameplay of Half-Life Alyx. More importantly, James, how many videos did they release, James?
3 videos.
They released 3 videos. This is what I really want to talk about. Because, okay, it showed that you can, like, interact with basically everything in the world, which is pretty cool. Showed her reloading a gun with the clip. Mm-hmm. Showed him picking up, like, I think it was like a can of beans and throwing it at one point. Like, they really showing... And then they talked about the movement where you can do the very VR thing of full walking around or the teleportation movement.
Yeah, they have the teleportation or the locomotion, which is, like, with the controls. You can just control, which is way better. The teleport is jarring as all hell. Yep.
Well, and then I love too in the video too the person teleported and then they went behind someone and like I was like it just kind of breaks the game a little bit. Like you just teleported around a guy you're fighting. But all right. And then of course they talked about how Gordon Freeman in Half-Life is a silent protagonist. Alyx is not, so we got to hear her new voice actress in kind of full force, which is pretty cool. And they have a dress, and I'm going to read this last part. Where was it? This all makes sense since Alyx is set before Half-Life 2 and its sequel episodes, although Valve has also suggested it could help resolve some lingering questions from those games. Interesting. So
no,
James,
they can't.
I've got it. You know my prediction. This game ends, and it says to be continued in Half-Life 3.
I just don't think they're going to call it 3, but I've already read sources. They're definitely coming out with more Half-Life content, but they better not make 3. Because there's no way they could
release 3 gameplay videos.
I'm just saying there's of Alyx, but it's like there's no way they could answer anything of that last story unless they are fully committed to continue what they did.
Okay, I'm gonna say Do
you want to know what the ending is then?
What the fuck happens at the end of Half-Life? Everyone's
okay,
like,
finally,
crazy cliffhanger.
After so many times, the cliffhanger is really bad. All right, damn, this is gonna spoil Alyx. So if I say it, that's fine.
Okay, then never mind. We'll talk about it offline.
It'll.
I do want to know.
Well, after you play Alyx, I'll tell you. How about that? We'll see how they answer it. Yeah.
All right.
Because then they can set it up in a way. It's that big. It's such a big spoiler. It's such an intricate thing to it, and they stop it and then they don't continue it. That's like, it's like the worst cliffhanger in gaming history. But at the same time, it was like the best cliffhanger if they continued it.
Interesting. All right,
because
we'll talk about it offline. All right, now we're going to go to what we call Jake's favorite section of news because it's about all the things Jake loves in this world. A mysterious Star Wars game, Project Maverick, seemingly leaks on PlayStation Network. By Joe Skrebels at IGN. Star Wars Project Maverick has seemingly leaked on the European PlayStation Network, and it appears to be an unannounced game. Posted by Twitter, bought PSN releases, and posted on Reset Era by user SoulZonic. It appears a listing was created for the game on the European PSN backend with a logo image attached, which is we can't show it obviously on the news story, but it's a Star Destroyer with a bunch of, like a giant Star Destroyer with a ton of X-Wings flying at it. And the logo is very much in the logo of Solo, like the way a Star Wars story looks, where it says like Star Wars and then the word Maverick in the middle of it. So then the bot that leaked this also has leaked hidden games like Resident Evil 3 before it was officially announced. So it has some validity to it. We've never heard of Project Maverick before, and it appears to be an early listing of a completely unannounced project. The presence of a tiny group of X-Wings flying towards a Star Destroyer in the logo has led some to speculate that this is a dogfighting game in the vein of a classic X-Wing or Rogue Squadron game. Last month, we heard that EA had canceled its Star Wars game codenamed Viking in 2019, but that a smaller, more unusual project was still in the works at EA Motive in Montreal. It has since been confirmed that this is Motive's game by Jason Schreier at Kotaku.
Ooh.
So because he knows about some of the games. So we're getting another Star Wars game probably this year, which makes so much sense if they're doing High Republic stuff and they're really trying to revamp Star Wars stories outside of the Skywalker saga. James, what do you think about a dog fighting, like flight simmy
Star Wars
game?
That'd be amazing.
Fuck yeah.
If there's a good story with it, it could be really good. If it could be incorporated with a bigger game, if it's just that, still good. But the leaks, damn, they're gonna be worried about like uploading just like simple details too, because there's actually a similar bot for Steam that like susses out like up, it's like a Steam DB bot, so it checks stuff that's been uploaded to the database. So that's why it's like they have to be sneakier with like naming things or putting stuff up, but at the same time, you're gonna have to put the game up eventually. So
right.
That sucks though, because like, you know, sometimes things get spoiled too soon before it's even like remotely done. However, this might be pretty far along, and
yeah,
I think it's wondering when are they gonna announce it?
I think you announce it at EA Play it around E3 when they have their EA event, because that'll get people hyped. Yes. I think that's when you show off Dragon Age as well. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely going to be something with flight, because Maverick is definitely associated with pilots and Project Maverick.
With Top Gun, right?
With Top Gun, baby, come on. He's fucking Maverick, bro.
Yeah, Maverick and Iceman.
Jesus. It's Project Iceman's the next one, the sequel. But I definitely think it'd be really cool to do an XWing game, and it's, you know, maybe it's just called XWing : something.
You know what else would be a good game that they could do, Jake? Pod racing.
They could do that. That would be a weird thing to come back to.
Yes.
Jake Lloyd announces it on stage. We've got a special guest, Anakin Skywalker himself, Jake Lloyd. He walks out all disgusting looking.
And then he says the line.
Yeah, now this is pod racing.
And everyone goes wild at the pre-orders come.
Oh my God. No. We don't need another pod racing game. That's a time capsule that can just die in the 90s. But I think we're getting an X-Wing game, which is pretty freaking awesome. I can't wait. Yep. But James, this is the real news story. This is the only one that really matters.
This is the big one.
Okay. This is a big one. And when this first dropped, I was going to come in and have like a whole theory about what this TV show is going to be. It has since been confirmed that my theory is very wrong, so it doesn't matter anymore. All right. The Last of Us series in the works at HBO from Chernobyl creator Craig Mazin, I think it's Craig Mazin, and Neil Druckmann. This comes from Boris Kitt and Patrick Shanley at The Hollywood Reporter. Craig Mazin, the creator of the critically acclaimed limited series Chernobyl, is re-teaming with HBO to adapt The Last of Us, the massive Sony PlayStation video game franchise. In a rare development in the video game world of adaptations, the writer and creative director of the game, Neil Druckmann, is involved and will work with Mazin to pen and executive produce what is intended to be a series. Carolina Strauss will also executive produce, along with Evan Wells, the president of Naughty Dog, the Sony Santa Monica-based developer. The project is in co-production with Sony Pictures Television in association with PlayStation Productions. It will be the first television series from PlayStation Production. Mazin, who said to be an avid player of the game, stated Neil Druckmann is without a question the finest storyteller working in the video games medium, and The Last of Us is his magnum opus. Getting a chance to adapt this breathtaking work of art has been a dream of mine for years. I am so honored to do it in partnership with Neil. From the first time I sat down to talk with Craig, I was equally blown away by his approach to narrative and his love and deep understanding of The Last of Us, said Druckmann in a statement. With Chernobyl, Craig and HBO created a tense, harrowing, emotional masterpiece. I couldn't think of better partners to bring the story of The Last of Us as a television show. This is an incredibly exciting opportunity for us to be partnering with Craig, Neil, Carolyn, and the teams at Sony, Naughty Dog, and PlayStation to bring the virtual world of this critically acclaimed game to life, stated HBO programming president Casey Boyes. This is the first of many shows we intend to develop with our friends at PlayStation Productions. That's an interesting statement.
Big,
said Chris Parnell, co-president of Sony Pictures Television Studios. The Last of Us is a brilliant achievement in storytelling and character development, and we are lucky to have the opportunity to work with this team to adapt it. James St. Charles.
Yes,
we are getting a Last of Us TV show, but more importantly, it's on goddamn HBO with the guy that did Chernobyl. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. You kidding me? That's the best news in the world.
Also, Neil directly involved, basically, it can't fail. Like, this is one of those things.
This makes me think of the Uncharted movie that's been announced for like 15 years.
That line right there. That line right there basically confirmed it.
No, this is real. This is going to happen and come out. I mean, I've heard some great jokes of the Uncharted movie has been in the works so long that Mark Wahlberg went from playing Nathan Drake to playing Sully. They have now age gapped him to playing the older person.
Wow.
That's how long the movie's been in development. Where The Last of Us, they're like, no, we got to fucking do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been confirmed that it will be retelling the story of Last of Us 1 and 2 with maybe stuff afterwards.
Stuff in between?
This is so exciting. And it is such a great team to do it. Did you watch Chernobyl?
Yes. Chernobyl is amazing. Chernobyl is like, when I picture Last of Us and Chernobyl, it's going to get real deep and dark quick. And that's perfect. Yep. That's what Last of Us needs. And doesn't need some like frilly thing that's like, oh, yeah, we're in the woods. Yeah, we're Walking Dead. Yeah, we're shooting zombies. No. This is more than that.
Yeah, it's not about the zombies.
Yeah.
And I think what's really great about it, too, is over the long kind of limited series format or series format, you get to tell like an in-depth story to know the characters, right? I think like that was always my fear with the movie was like, okay, we got to tell the story in an hour and a half. You're like, oh, fuck. Like,
yeah, there's no way. You can't build up that relationship that like in an hour and a half.
No.
You need an episodic type.
No, of course, it's never going to compare to the game. The game will always, in my opinion, it's going to be way better than the show, but it's going to be cool to see them be able to transition it and tell that story.
Yeah, so where you can see certain elements in the game. Yeah.
What I wanted them to do was kind of take the Watchmen approach to this and have games 1 and 2 be part of the story, and then the TV show be after 2, which I thought would have been really cool. Like,
okay,
part 1 and part 2 were like, and it's not going to be this, so it's really sad.
Yeah.
But like part 1 and part 2 are the games, and part 3 is the show. Because like what Watchmen did, Watchmen was like, this is the sequel to the book. Mm-hmm. Everything in the book happened. Now this is like the next part of it. And I was like, that would have been cool to do with The Last of Us, but I'm excited to see him recreate it as well.
Any time frame on this, or is it just announcing that it's happening?
It's announcing that it's happening. My guess is they've started writing it, maybe, but like they've got to finish the game before they even start on this. So I think this is interesting though for me, just thinking game wise and Naughty Dog. That means I don't think Neil Druckmann's going to be very involved in whatever they're working on next.
I don't think so either. I actually think he's taking a step back into this.
Obviously, I think it is a new IP, whatever they announce next, which would be freaking cool. But I'm intrigued to see what Naughty Dog does after The Last of Us, because it's not Uncharted and it's not The Last of Us. So it's exciting. But it's not Neil Druckmann. All right, so that is the news, James. Now let's talk about our big topic.
I got one more thing to say. Just one more news.
Oh, one more news.
You're not gonna like it because I know you.
Okay.
You don't like these types of games, but it was announced yesterday.
Oh.
Yeah, or was it Thursday? It was yesterday. Amnesia, one of the greatest scary game franchises to exist, has probably the best. Amnesia: Dark Descent is probably the best scary game of all time. Amazing story, really just scary type of gameplay and great puzzle solving. And Frictional Games announced that they're releasing a new Amnesia.
Oh.
That's gonna bring it back to its roots. It's gonna be. It says it's gonna be like unlike any other Amnesia game out there. That being said, Amnesia 2 sucks. War of Pigs is the worst Amnesia game ever. 1 has a way incredible story. So I am excited. They made Soma, which is also another scary game. That wasn't as scary as Amnesia. Soma was like a dark and kind of interesting navigative type game.
Okay.
Not my type of game. I like a scary game. But at the same time, people were mad that if they don't want any more jump scares. So curious to see what they do to make it scary. That being said, I think the Resident Evil route of scary games is where they're heading right now. That's the dynamic. No more jump scares. So I'm excited. But that was just what they wanted us because
that's cool.
I
didn't know about that.
Amnesia series is one of the greatest scary game series of all time. That's my.
Yeah, no.
Just with one game. But they have 4. They have 3 games. Amnesia.
One of them's good.
Well, 2 of them are good.
Okay.
2 is like but Amnesia the first game, and then Soma, which is a different IP, but still.
But now they're going back to Amnesia. That's awesome.
Yes.
Wow.
UK based game company, Frictional Games.
Frictional Games. I like that. That's a good name. Okay. I have nothing to say on Amnesia, but I'm excited for you. I will never play it, but I'm really excited for you to play it.
Maybe one day we'll sit down for a gameplay and we'll play the original Amnesia, and you'll experience how great the story is.
I'll be real scared. I don't like that scary shit. I don't like it. All right. Speaking of stuff I do like, though, I want to talk to you, James, because we haven't even talked about it. The Final Fantasy VII Remake demo.
I love it.
We played it. It's on PlayStation Network. What do you think? Give me your overall impressions.
I told you a lie when we were playing Halo 1 earlier this week because we were playing it.
Uh-huh.
But I think it's absolutely amazing. And you played on the PS4 Pro, and I played on the PS4 Slim, and I felt looked beautiful. Like, it looked gorgeous on the Slim. I can't imagine how it looks on the Pro. It probably looked even way better. But
it's got to be one of the best looking games I've ever seen.
It's a beautiful, and it's when I'm playing, it's like I'm so immersed. The environment is perfect, lighting perfect, music perfect, like atmosphere. And then you play the game, and if you've played Final Fantasy 15, like we both have, you take that gameplay and you cut out a lot of the nonsense, and then you incorporate the old turn-based style from FF7 with the spells, and you get the most amazing fighting that you could possibly have. The battles,
so fun.
The battles are great. They are like the boss battles feel like boss battles, and you have to like time. And there's so many things you can do. You have so many tools in your toolbox to win this fight, and it gives it all to you. So you have like because you have your on the fly fighting capabilities, but you also have spells. You have items that were all from original Final Fantasy 7. So you can play like a turn based while at the same time like planning your next move and fighting and understanding the weakness of the boss or the enemy. Absolutely great. Switching between party members, also a great thing. That's amazing that you can do that. And then there's this mode. I don't know if you played it. Did you play the classic mode?
No.
So there's classic, easy, and then normal, I think.
Yeah,
Classic is their take on if you want to play OG turn-based. So
really?
Your character will auto-fight enemies, and you get to select when you want like special attacks, when you want spells, heal, all that.
That's cool.
So you can navigate a battle and not worry about fighting. That being said, fighting adds that extra like element to the game. So I don't know if that's gonna be as popular with a lot of people. It was only easy difficulty as well, so I was like, But
it's a cool idea though.
It is an idea, yeah. It's like it's a great testament. Yeah. And then when you're playing, there's a lot of love in this game. You can tell like there's just so much detail and passion.
Have you played the original Final Fantasy VII?
No. I've seen a lot of gameplay of it. I watched the video, the movie, FF7 Advent Children. Really good movie.
Well, and I watched someone play through the exactly what the demo is. But I watched them play like from the original game, so like that portion where you fight like the crab monster. Yeah. All the way, So it's really cool to like see the comparison. Things I didn't like first. I think the voice acting for the character of Barrett, just from Barrett is the big black man with the gun on his arm gun. From what we saw, I'm concerned that he might get really annoying. That being said, that's kind of the point it looks like in the beginning. Like Cloud even calls him like crazy and stuff. Yeah. Was not like the boss battle took a little too long for me. I'm like, this is like kind of very Japanese RPG kind of element of like really long fights.
It's the same as like FF15. It felt like the exact same like type.
Yeah. But the story's intriguing and it is stunning. Yeah. Things I really did like. Cloud is like the fucking coolest character in the world. He like doesn't give a shit about anything and he's a real pretty boy. And it's just like, and all the girls are like real thirsty about him. Like in the game, like Jessie is like really into Cloud.
Yeah. You're like, damn. It's like, yeah, we get it.
Like, whoa, we get it. Like we get that you like him. And I love just the combat systems and everything they're doing with it. And the atmosphere, like you were talking about, is just like palpable. Like, this is a fucking cool world. Really bummed that this is going to be split up into multiple parts because it would be cool to get the whole story in one game. Yeah. And they've been really elusive of how, like, much of the story this is, which I think is interesting. But I'm very excited to play it. I'm definitely more excited to play it after the demo than I was before.
I would agree with you, on that. Yeah. That'd be, back to your comment about, like, characters being annoying. I might, if it's possible, well, I better hope it's possible, I might play the Japanese version with English subs. Because from video of watching like some of the like trailers, the Japanese voice actors are much better, and Barrett is definitely not like how people thought he was gonna be. And some of them would be. So I might play it that way. That being said, I played some Japanese RPGs without English voice acting, and it's harder to like pay attention, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Like if I'm like multitasking stuff, like I have to like really focus on reading, and then
I'm not a big subtitles fan because then I start reading and stop paying attention to what's on the screen.
Exactly. So that's why it's like with games, I know with shows I could handle a little bit better, but with subtitles in games, it's really hard. So
I agree.
We'll see. I might just he wasn't too bad, but he was just like really like full of himself. Like
he was just a little in your face, but I think that's kind of the point of his character in the beginning. I am very excited to see how this game progresses and like the RPG elements of it, because obviously a demo you don't get like I'm building my character. To see how deep that runs, I think it's really cool. Obviously, like I said, I think Cloud is just so fucking cool with that big ass sword and his selecting abilities, and then how like building up your limit works in this version compared to the other version. I think is interesting, and I loved the idea of like when you had to switch over to Barrett to use range. It's like that's cool to see how like
make your party members useful.
And like how
to
you
the
select
enemies.
And it's a story I don't know much about, which is exciting.
Yeah, there's also one thing that like Easter egg that not many people noticed in the demo. When you're setting the time for the bomb, spoilers for people who haven't played the demo, but you blow up a reactor. Yeah, you set 2 times, and depending on the time you choose, you'll get a different ending in the demo. Not like.
So what times did you choose?
So I chose 30 minutes. You can choose 20 minutes or 30 minutes.
I chose 20. So what's the difference?
If you choose 20 minutes, you'll see Sephiroth in the ending, and if you choose 30 minutes, you'll see. I think you'll see. You don't see Sephiroth. I forgot who you see. Actually, now I think about it. I chose 20 minutes. Sorry,
I saw Sephiroth.
I saw Sephiroth, and then I just found out from someone else who chose 30 minutes. I think you see like your party members.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you see something different.
Okay, that's interesting.
But it was like
I'm very
weird.
excited.
Like that was a thing because before that wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
There's more things I want to talk about, but I like because they show you like a little bit of what's going to happen next in the demo. Kind of like after I'll say this. Like after you blow up.
Cloud picks up a flower. I saw that part.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool. He's got a flower.
After you blow up this reactor. But that being said, it was like you can infer from the demo like you were kind of set up that you were just gonna like blow up this whole thing, and then they're like, nah, we're just gonna blow up the whole thing. So what you can infer is that now everyone's gonna think like you guys are a bunch of assholes because you just blew up this thing and you probably killed some people. I mean, this is all speculation on my part.
The story is like kind of. I know that like you're kind of labeled as terrorists in the story, and that's like kind of the point of.
From what I've seen, that wasn't a thing in the original FF7.
Right.
Like it was like that wasn't really talked about. Now I think they're gonna delve into that. Before it was just kind of like it wasn't really touched upon. So we'll see how they do this. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very in.
I think you're gonna be bought. That being said, our feelings on FF15 were the same, where it was just like, But I love the FF15 combat. To me, it was pretty
great.
Good. I love being able to like zip around, teleport around, and it's obvious that's not going to be a thing in this game. That you're not going to be able to like teleport around. That I love that. But still, you're gonna have good attacks.
My major problem with Final Fantasy 15 is the story was just utter fucking garbage.
It was garbage. Yeah, absolutely garbage. I rushed to the ending, and then I got to the ending. I was like, God, what's the whole point of this? Like,
someone was like, the game doesn't have an ending. Like, they're gonna patch it in later. And I was like 20, 30 hours into the game, and I was like, all right, I'm done playing.
Yeah,
I don't need to play it.
I got
this isn't that satisfying. Fuck it. But we know that Final Fantasy 7 has a good story.
Yeah, that's the best part. Was when you know this is a good game that you're playing.
And it's like a thing that's like, I don't know the story. So it's like, that's really cool that it's never been spoiled for me. Like, it's like when I watched Seven with Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. I didn't know what was in the box.
Yes.
And so it was like exciting because everyone's like, dude, what's in the box is crazy. And I was like, what's in the box? Just like he says it. Yeah. I'm like, what's Final Fantasy 7 about? It's like, this is awesome.
It's exciting for us who don't really know the story, but I think it's also exciting for people who've played the original F7 and it's like the best thing ever. And they get to see little things like, oh, that's from the original, or like that's little thing. Like, you know, like when you watch Star Wars and you see little little elements that are like, oh, just for the fans. So
that's exciting.
I hope that we're going to be those type of people. I also hope if this game's successful, once all the little episodes are done, that they'll remake other FF games. Like,
I'm curious if that's
6 or 8.
Like 8, 6 would be awesome.
Yeah.
6 is great. That was one of my.
Bro, I heard people really like 6. Yeah, so I was like,
yeah, 6 is great.
Those old games that like really are like done, like you cannot replay, like they're really old, like they have not withstand the test of time. That you can bring to the forefront.
I would love them to remake Chrono Trigger in this style.
That would be. See, this is the thing. Like
dream.
Remakes are the thing right now. I feel remakes are big thing. You have people in their 30s or 40s that are played like games from the 90s. Like they got money.
And because video games is the one entertainment medium that like actually ages out a little bit. Like like a classic movie like Casablanca is good now, just like it was then. Obviously, there's some movies that have like effects that are corny and hokey.
Wizard of Oz, Ben-Hur, like all these old, There's like stuff
they're classics and they'll never be touched, right? But they're watchable, and you can buy a Blu-ray of Casablanca. It's really hard to buy certain games and replay them.
Yep.
And like there are some games that are just lost, like, or some games that control schemes like Skyward Sword for Zelda on the Wii. You can't play that anywhere else really because it has the Wii motion controls.
Yeah, how to do that
into it. So
you're right.
I think that's why like it's cool to see these games remade and not only up-res but like remapped or reworked to fit the modern time while keeping that classic style. I think is really cool. Remake Ocarina of Time. Come on, like a real
game actually.
Remake, you know what I'm saying?
Why haven't they done that?
They did for 3DS. It was pretty good. But like keep remaking it. I want to play that game right now. Okay, now. Speaking of Ocarina of Time, because it's on this list, this is our top 20 games of all time that we're slowly building, and then we will do a kind of a Side Escape Ranks crossover episode where we rank these 20 games. So far, I know, right? So far, here's what we got. Super Mario World, Minecraft, The Last of Us, Doom 1993, Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Halo, Halo 2, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, and BioShock. And I've got a pick to add to this list. I want to talk about, personally, one of my favorite games of all time, a great puzzle game, Portal 2. Portal 2 deserves to be on this list. And I'll make my argument. I'll make my case because I'm a little nervous about your look. If you're going to deny me Portal 2, I'm going to fight you. Portal 2 took what made Portal 1 so special, of that puzzle atmosphere, using the portal gun and figuring out kind of this world and this crazy little, kind of, I guess, the crazy little experiment that you're a part of with GLaDOS and everything. And it took it to the next level. It had a great co-op in there with like solving puzzles, but then the story mode itself was really creative and innovative, and it used like GLaDOS in a way that you didn't expect and made the bad guy of the first one, who everyone loved, a good guy in this one, and flipped everything on its head while maintaining the feel of Portal, and then it dived deeper in not only the lore, but what you could do with that device. It made puzzle solving fun, like even better than you thought possible in the first one, adding like the bouncing paint and all the different kind of atmospheres that you get to be a part of. The voice acting cast is great, with Stephen Merchant as Wheatley, with J.K. Simmons involved. J.K. Simmons in that game is probably the greatest voice in video games, and his character is amazing as like the guy who ran Aperture. And then of course GLaDOS being a potato is one of my favorite jokes, of just like, she laughs and she goes, "Because I'm a potato." And it's like, I love that so much. I think Portal 2 is probably the second greatest puzzle game of all time. Number one will probably be talked about sometime eventually. But I think it's almost perfect for what it is. That's my pitch on Portal 2.
I'm gonna 100% agree with you there. And I'm gonna say one little statement. Portal 2 is to Portal what Half-Life 2 is to Half-Life. The first Half-Life game and the first Portal game are actually very similar in the sense that there's not a lot of story until the very end or the beginning. Like, you're just playing the game. Like, you're going about it, solving puzzles, doing it. Half-Life 2 and Portal 2, like, just elevate the story into, like, another dimension. And Portal 2 really, like, you understand Aperture, you understand, like, the test subjects, you understand J.K. Simmons, who run, like, his jokes and, like, how this, like, lab, how it's continuing and what they were doing, and it was
right,
and they were also competing with Black Mesa because they're in the same universe, so it was pretty. That was also really exciting. Where like they hated Black Mesa.
That's so fun.
Those jokes, and it was so ahead of its time. I feel like a lot of what Valve was doing, and then it was all lost in time. I feel that's the sad part about Valve. Like, all of those games could have been kept elevating, and then they just all died out.
Thanks to Steam.
Like Steam took off and it was like, let's just like work on Steam.
Yeah.
But now it seems like they're getting back to their roots. And if we get another Portal game, and if God, please do not make it VR, because that'd be really jarring.
Yeah, but, Portal VR would be crazy.
A Portal game that would cross over with Half-Life.
I agree with what you're saying though. With Portal 2 is like a perfect sequel. It reminds me a lot of like, in the same vein of like Empire Strikes Back, right? Where it took what you knew about the first one that you loved. You know, it took what you knew, and it added another like layer to it, and inverted your expectations. Mm-hmm. It's so weird to be like, I don't want to spoil Portal 2 because it's been out for like, you know, something 15 years, whatever, 10 years. But the final boss battle and like how you end up winning is so innovative and brilliant. And that's why I don't even want to say it. And it just makes that game of like, that's what that game constantly does at every moment. But that like the final battle encapsulates what that game was so good at. I think that we'd be remiss to not include Portal 2 on this list.
Definitely. Yes. It's about time we put a Valve game on here. And
I know.
One that is like it definitely the way Portal worked with their engine, because again, this is all related to their source engine, which is amazing and based off the Quake engine, but it's still with Portal 1, what I like what they did is the very ending when you're basically like done with the puzzles and then you're noticing like, wait a second, this isn't all like fine and dandy. Like they opened the curtain and you get to see like what you're running in the back behind certain puzzles and like certain and escaping kind of things. And that's like to me when with the Portal 2, it's like it's full blown. Like you see everything with Portal 2, like what's exactly going on, and it's just beautiful. And the co-op, one of the best co-op campaigns of all time as well.
Great. So we each have one layer of the portal.
Yeah, you add a complexity with it where you need two people to solve these puzzles, and I'm just imagining the design of it, like incredible design needed to solve these. It's just beautiful.
No, it's so good. I love that. I love that game. Oh, jeez. So we're adding it to the list. It's on there.
It's on.
I can't wait to officially break these all down. Now, I do want to ask one question to you, James.
Yes, sir.
We've got some pretty big games coming out that could possibly make it on this list. I'm looking mainly at Last of Us Part 2 and Cyberpunk 2077. Do you think there's a chance in hell it makes it on a top 20 list of all time?
If it does, could we have Last of Us and Last of Us 2 on the same list?
That's an interesting question.
Yes, because I feel like sometimes when you release sequel, just like we're definitely not gonna put Portal 1 on here. It could knock off, it'll knock off like if it elevates it that much.
I don't think there's a chance in hell that The Last of Us Part 2 is better than The Last of Us.
I'm gonna agree with you.
And I don't think it's because I think Last of Us 2 still has a chance to be 10 out of 10, great. I just think because the first one was so, it definitively is what it is, and it could have just ended there and it'd be perfect. And the fact that it's continuing is awesome. But I kind of feel like same with if a Portal 3 came out, I don't think it'd usurp Portal 2.
It's also like the Halo thing too as well. Like they just kept making more Halos, and then it's like, oh no, there's definitively like a good Halo, and
like the Halo
we said
game.
Was 1 and
Halo
2.
1 and
But now
1 and
I'm
2.
actually, after playing Halo 1, I think we're gonna have to redo this list.
Whoa!
Yeah.
We're gonna cut something?
It's just like Halo is trapped in time and it's not playable anymore.
I know, but that might be. It's still a great game.
It's definitely a great game. Like I need to play the campaign again.
I love the idea of a episode where we revise the list.
I would love that. Yeah.
All right.
Where we like, damn it, in my memory, it was way better.
It was great.
But now, because just like we were talking about earlier, like where things change with time.
Mm-hmm.
So is this a current top 20 list, or is it just like in that era, in that moment when you played it, is it that good? We should just do that. So then Last of Us is definitely the best at that moment in time we played. Yeah. So I think we should like definitely like define that. Not currently what I think the top 20, like playing it right now.
If you were to tell people, be like, these are the 20 games you need to play right now, so you play the best.
And then they play and they'd be like, what the hell is this shit? Like Doom 1, this thing's awful.
Yeah, right. No, I like the idea of this is in our opinion, for maybe for us, is the 20 best games that have been created.
I agree.
Yeah. Well, everyone, thank you so much for watching episode 14. Are we 14. On 15?
14.
14. Wow. On the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. Please go on our YouTube channel, subscribe, like the video, all of that. Subscribe to us or follow us on SoundCloud and Spotify. And thank you so much for watching.